All right, guys, we are recording. I am Colleen Arrington, and I am a four-star diamond coach, founder of Team Inspire Action, and I am welcoming Tonysherock, who is a great business partner of mine and a star diamond coach, founder of Team Rockfit. And we are combined together with Team Dynamite, Team Empower, Team Rockfit, Team LiveSmart, all the different teams for a team call on the art of recruiting and Tony's learnings from that after participating in Josh Coates' group in February. So thanks everybody for jumping on. Thank you for listening in the callback or the recording. I'm going to mute everybody, but later if we do have time for questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions. So hold on one second. So hopefully if anybody jumps on later, they can also be muted. And then Tony, I'm going to unmute you. Unmute. There we go. So Tony is going to share with us a lot of his learnings, and then if we have time, we'll do questions. I will post the recording in all the groups so everybody will have access to that. But thanks again for everybody for hopping on and listening. So Tony, I will turn it over to you.
Cool, thanks. And bear with me tonight. It's the first time I've been sick in like almost 5 years. So that's why I have my hydrate with me. So a little flu bug, but it's passing through. So hopefully I won't cough too much. Yeah, as far as Josh Coates, learned a lot in his group, and it really wasn't necessarily so much new information as it was more just coach accountability for the most part. But what he did mention, I'll kind of break this down into parts a little bit before we get going as far as the homework assignments that we had in the daily activities. But one of the first things he mentioned, this was actually in a Colleen call when Josh was with us. He said you need to be intentional really about your mission. And once you have a mission statement for your specific business center or your team, that really truly helps because, you know, when you get frustrated, when you get overwhelmed, you can always go back to that and the reason why you're doing what you're doing. So that was one of the first things. And really just for myself, I mean, he really put it out there just to say, you guys have to get intentional with what your story is. You know, whether it's a physical transformation, emotional, financial. I mean, you could always take everything that you've gone through and take it in little bits so you don't have these long posts, but maybe you have enough information where, you know, every Tuesday would be a transformational Tuesday. You know, that would be basically you talking about some sort of transformation that you made. And those are called those anchor posts. I mean, so which I'll get to here in a second, but be intentional about your story, because without that, you really don't have a business. You know, that's why celebrities don't really run Beachbody businesses or very successful ones. The main reason is because no one can connect with them. You are someone that, you know, the issues that you've been through or still trying to battle through, people can connect with that. And then obviously they can connect with you as well too, if you know, if you're obviously open to that, which you are. And of course, you know, the main thing, Success Club. Be intentional about Success Club. Be intentional about that. But if you just do the daily habits, you're going to be in great shape. But it's not all about the numbers, and it's not all about that stuff. It's really about going back to your mission statement for the most part. But what he mentioned as far as the assignments, and quite honestly, it's probably a lot of stuff you're already doing. But for me, it was interesting because Instagram's a new ball game for me. It's a new beast. I've always kind of dabbled around with it. But since the retreat back in February, and then, of course, the Josh Coates training, it was obviously something that I'm really intentional about at this particular point. But he said, as far as your business center, to make sure the basics, really, post on social media 4 times a day. You know, we were at the retreat. I know Andrea mentioned, and it seemed like it was overwhelming at the beginning when she said, you know, you should be posting on IG if you really want your business to crank up 3 to 4 times a day. You know, I'm thinking, holy cow, I don't even post 3-4 times a day on social media. But honestly, what I've been doing, because I'm new to Instagram, I've been going 2, 3, 4 years back into my Facebook page, and I just been taking stuff from my Facebook page and then putting it on Instagram, because it's brand new on Instagram. So it's really not coming up with new material. It's really just kind of reinventing the old material. And even on my Instagram account, you know, I've been on it for maybe a year and a half, and I would post maybe 2 to 3 times a week. So now I go back on some of those old pictures when I got 3 to 5 to maybe 10 likes. I just been deleting them off my early Instagram feed and then reusing them. So therefore, I know exactly how to use the hashtags now. I mean, maybe not exactly, but I'm better at it. Let's put it that way. So when it comes to Instagram, I typically been doing 3 a day. After the retreat, I was doing 1 a day. Then a little later, it was 2 a day. Then I realized 3 a day is not that big of a deal. So I just been really focusing in on just trying to hone in on the 3 or 4 main things that I want to get out there. Number one is my business, which honestly I feel a lot more comfortable with because I don't have to worry about what time I'm doing it, what day I'm doing it. There's no rules, really. There's absolutely no rules with Instagram. And I've been putting a lot about nutrition and obviously, information out there that's motivational, things like that. Get people to think a little bit. So that's what I've been doing on social media overall. It's been pretty much 4 times a day overall, but usually 2 on Facebook and 3 on Instagram for myself. But the anchor posts, excuse me while I take a drink. Great day to be sick. All right. But as far as the anchor post, this is where it comes into play. Sunday night, a lot of you guys are probably putting business posts up there already because most people are dreading going to work on Monday. They're dreading it probably on Sunday morning. So that's a perfect opportunity to talk about the business opportunity and what it presents and what it's done for you. Okay. So that's kind of one of those anchor posts and probably should be something you do every week. It may not always be on Facebook. Maybe you do 1 on Instagram and 1 on Facebook, or maybe you just do 1 on Instagram and none on Facebook. It all depends on how much you want to kind of crank this thing up, So there's sometimes I'll put 1 on Instagram and 1 on Facebook, and then next week I'll just flip them. I'll just the one I've used on IG the week before I'll put on Facebook, the next week or so. So that's kind of your anchor post to get the business out there, and don't feel like you're putting it out there too much. And where the other anchor posts come into play, which is basically just this is what you kind of should be doing. Every Tuesday is a transformational Tuesday. It should be something that you have overcome. It could even be a before and after picture. Could be in the morning, in the evening, whenever you choose to do it, and whatever platform you choose to do it, whether, again, Facebook or IG. And then Thursday is your Throwback Thursday. Throwback Thursday could be, again, a before and after picture, or maybe something how you felt before compared to now and how it helps you. And I know sometimes, you may feel like, boy, I'm really putting myself out there too much. I'm getting annoying. But if you take it in little bite-sized pieces, so to speak, and put it out there, keep in mind a lot of the people who are not seeing your stuff on Tuesday will see it on Thursday. Or they may not have seen your Sunday and Tuesday post from the business and your transformational Tuesday, but now they see your Thursday post. You know what I mean? And if they really don't like what they see, they're just going to, unfollow you, and that's fine because you probably don't need them anyway. So they're not doing you any good anyway. So I wouldn't even worry about that too much. But don't feel like it's just too much, all right? Because the main thing is you really want to make sure you're putting that out there and putting a call to action at the end of it. A call to action. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. Can you turn your volume up a little bit? I guess some people are having a hard time hearing.
That's about as loud as I can get it.
Is yours up? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I can talk a little louder if you want. Is that good?
If you can.
Okay. I'll try.
Thanks.
I'll try. So
mine's fine, and the recording should be fine.
Okay. So, again, those anchor posts Sunday night should be a business post, transformational Tuesday post, whether it be in the morning or evening, and then throwback Thursday post, morning or evening on that one. But a call to action at the end of those is really, really good too. I mean, a lot of times, what we'll put is, and I'm just going to take this verbatim from what I learned. And again, you put it the way you want to put it. But again, it's if you're in the same place I was and are ready to make a step in your journey, comment below, and I'd love to help you out and give you details. I'll repeat that a couple times. I know we got a recording on that too. But if you're in the same place I was and are ready to take a step on your journey, comment below, and I'd love to give you details. All right? So that call to action, again, if you're in the same place I was and ready to take a step in your journey, comment below, love to give you more details. And of course, you could always chime into the Inspire Action, Team Rock, whatever group you're involved with. If you're not getting a lot of comments, then that's when you kind of help, get help from your coaches. So we'll all chime in there and comment on that. But you may not necessarily get a lot of comments, but you will get some likes. And if you do get some likes, it's a good opportunity. If there are likes from different people other than people you're already connected with coaching, it's a great opportunity to inbox them and connect with them that way. Hey, thanks for supporting me. Appreciate the love on my post. And you can even ask them a question at that particular point if you want to. How are you doing? Or are you on a health journey yourself? Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. But again, I appreciate your love on the post type thing. So that's where that's where you come up with your list as well. They may not have commented, but you see 5 different people that liked it. And so they obviously liked it for a reason. That doesn't mean they want to jump in a challenge group right away. But again, it's something to kind of connect and let them know that you're there for them. Okay. So that kind of covers that as far as just the basics, as far as 4 times a day on social media. And if you really want to blow up Instagram, 3 to 4 times a day on Instagram. And don't make that too much more difficult. I spend more time on what I'm putting on Facebook. And then the Instagram thing, it's just whatever I'm in the mood for, really. I mean, if you notice my Instagram right now, I got one of those patterns we talked about at the retreat. First post is something motivational, something with words, something inspiring, whatever. Then the next 2 posts will be something that's a picture. Could be food, could be fitness, could be something to me, could be whatever. But you're going to notice down the one line, it's going to be more of the motivational things, just because it keeps me in line as far as what I'm doing. So, but everyone's different in that regard. But as far as, Crowdfire, and this kind of goes back to the Instagram thing, and this is what I've been doing. It's been really, really working well. Now, obviously, Crowdfire is kind of capped you at 25 people per day that you can follow and you can unfollow, unless you've kind of, I think it's $9.99 or $10 or something per month to have it unlimited. From one of my coaches, Janine, she said it's well worth the money. So if you're willing to invest that in your business and say, yeah, I'd like to just follow as many people, like a ton of them, and then unfollow them when I like to, and it's $9-10 a month, I think is what she said. So
yeah, it was well worth it, even if it's just for a month.
And there's Janine. I didn't know she was on. That's cool. So yeah, so it's really, really cool. But here's a couple things that I've been doing and really been really working very, very well. You put a post out there and you notice if someone likes the health and fitness post, it's up to you on if you want to do this, whether it's hammer and chisel or something you're doing and someone likes it. You can go to the direct message and direct message them and basically keep it short and simple. Kind of like Facebook. Thank you so much for liking my post. I appreciate it so much when people support my journey and send good vibes my way. Are you on a health journey too? That type of thing. And I'll repeat that as well too. But this is if someone likes your post. This could be on Instagram or Facebook. But if they just like a common post, thank you so much for liking my post. I appreciate it so much when people support my journey and send good vibes my way. Are you on a health journey too? Or whatever question you want to, that may not fit for you. It doesn't really fit for me. I usually put something else in there at the end. Are you on a health journey too? But it's something to kind of get some action going. Okay. And if you put something about a coaching opportunity, maybe it's a sneak peek group, or maybe it's something that you're doing with coaching, and someone happens to like that post on Facebook or on Instagram, again, thanks so much for liking my post. This is a direct message, by the way. Thank you so much for liking my post. I appreciate it so much when people support me. Are you a health coach, or are you a Group X instructor? Are you in the health and wellness industry or profession? Something like that. So if someone likes the coaching post, thanks so much for liking my post. I appreciate it so much when people support me. Are you in the health and wellness field as well? If I know they're in the health and wellness field, I'll just ask them, how long have you been health coaching? How long have you been personal training? So that kind of gets the conversation going. Most people may not even see the direct messages. Maybe most will not even contact you after that. But that's okay. We know that, most times we're going to get 9 no's out of 10 anyway, or 9 no comments anyway. So the main thing is, obviously keep going. And one of the book that we were reading throughout this group was the 10X rule. And the 10X rule is basically saying, if you want to get 10 people in a group, you got to talk to 100 people. You have to 10X X everything in order to get to where you want to get to. And that's kind of the same concept here, but you got to keep going because obviously at some point, you're going to get responses. And I've been pretty much hitting about a 50% ratio here so far on people responding to me. So it's really been pretty good overall. And a couple things as far as this is a certain thing that's been working really, really well. I don't remember the name of the coach, but it's a method that they've termed ADOS. And I can't remember who the coach is, but obviously her last name's Dawson. Her first name begins with an A. But this is kind of stolen from her because she was actually one of the people that we had a brief interview with her. But when it comes to coaches, now again, if you're on Facebook or especially if you're on Instagram, where are you at right now? That's what you have to determine. The people that were in this group are specifically looking for coaches. So we're obviously looking for challengers as well too, but we're looking for people who can work the business. You, depending on what rank you are and where you're at in the business, if you are in Success Club 1 month and out the next month, it's probably more about challengers than coaches. Because most people that are in a challenge group do become coaches. That's typically the way it works. They don't just become a coach out of the clear blue. So it all depends on what your thing is. But if you're looking for coaches, one of the things you want to do is look for people when they either like your pictures on Instagram or comment, or maybe they start following you or whatever. What I usually do in the morning is I go through all the notifications and I sift through all the garbage, so to speak, because there's a lot of it. Join me, join my team. Here's a wrap, and it works. Which we know that doesn't work. But the point of the matter is, I'll look through those people and see, okay, where's my list of people that look good? They look like, okay, this is a nice person. I like their page. They're either going to go on my challenger list as a client customer or my coach list, right? And what I'm intentionally doing at this point, I'm looking for people that have 1,000 followers to maybe 2,000 followers. All right. So if I find someone like that and I like the look of their page, I like the way their profile pic looks, I look at their bio, they're not connected with another company. You see food pics, fitness pics, nothing crazy, nothing quirky, nothing weird. And I see that, okay, they got 1,200 followers. All right, they got 1,500 followers. Obviously, they got some sort of following. They got something going on. That kind of goes back to the law of influence, leadership. So obviously, something that they're doing is a good thing. So what I'll do at that particular point is I'll pin and I'll make a list of those people that are in that 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 follower range, and I'll just continue to add to my list every single day. But I'll pick 2 each day to ADOS message them, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is go on their page and I'm going to like a couple of their pictures. And on one of their pictures, all I'm going to do is say, hey, Marcia, love your IG posts and pics. Just messaged you. All right. So what I'll do then is I'll put a message in their inbox, and it's going to be something like this. This is kind of from ADOS, so to speak. So please change this. Don't do it exactly, because then it's going to be weird that a lot of people get the same message. But basically, she put, in fact, I'll just read what I put. I got a cool phone now, so I can actually call this thing up with my thumbprint. I'm just so excited about this new phone. All right. This is what I put to someone who has like 2,000 followers. I just put, love your IG page, Jennifer. I always use the name. I'm a personal trainer and health coach. I love the fact you are inspiring others to live healthy lives and appreciate the support on my page. Are you a health coach? And the reason I asked that question is because she's doing health coach stuff. All right. But it could be something as simple as, oh my God, Andrea, I love your page so much. Love your pictures. Your page is very inspiring, and I love the fact that you're helping others get healthy. How long have you been blank? All right, and I'll repeat that. Okay, I'll repeat that for you. But that's what I'm looking at. If I see someone's a personal trainer, if I see someone's a health coach, or I see someone's a nutritionist, whatever, I'll basically say, I'll ask them how long they've been doing it. And so that kind of gets the conversation going. But if I see two people that I like with 1,000 followers or 1,500, 2,000, like a couple of their pics and comment on one of their pics saying just messaged you, all right? And in their inbox, it's basically going to say, love your IG page, Jennifer, or whatever their name is. I'm a personal trainer and health coach. That's what I use just because that's what I am, right? I love the fact you're inspiring others and living a healthy life. And basically, again, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been a personal trainer? Are you a personal trainer? How long have you been into health and fitness? You know, how long have you been on your journey? Whatever you want to put in there just to kind of get the conversation going. All right. And at that particular point, I mean, I've had, you know, about 50% of the people inbox me. In fact, I just was on the phone with 2 people from Instagram. I pulled them over to Facebook, but we actually talked on the phone. And what I've been doing is I know a lot of personal trainers, and I know a lot of, and that's my target market. That may not be yours, but my target market's personal trainers and health coaching and things like that. But I do know a lot of people who are into health and fitness would love to do this for a living. I do know a lot of personal trainers and health coaches and group exercise instructors would love to do this full time, but they don't know how to do it. So the thing is, when we start bouncing back and forth in conversation, and usually it's the second thing that they say, you know, oh yeah, I've been, hey, thanks for reaching out. And, you know, yeah, I've been doing this for 2 years. How about you? And that's when I'll basically say, oh yeah, well, I've been doing this, blah, blah, blah. I find that most of my business is online. I've taken clients online group coaching, and it really, really works just because it's just less stressful, and I'm almost out of corporate, you know, something like that. And right away, it's going to trigger someone to say, oh, wow, okay, online group coaching. Almost every single person who's gotten back with me, they said, tell me more about this online group coaching that you're doing. Because personal trainers, a lot of these guys, they don't know. Or people who are just into health and fitness, they don't really understand what online group coaching is. So that's kind of like I'm throwing out there for people to get back with me and continue the conversation. And so far in the last 2 weeks, like I said, half the people have gotten back. And a couple of people have actually wanted to hop on the phone. Believe it or not, people, you know, use the phone to call, and they want to call me. So it's been really, really good. So that's pretty much it. I mean, as far as just 2 people that you see that have influence and connect with them, because the main reason you're thinking about that is because if you have someone with 1,500 followers already, that person obviously understands social media to some degree, and they have some influence. So basically what we're saying is if you can sign 10 coaches, but a lot of those coaches are very reluctant to do anything. It may take them a while to get going. Not saying that they're not going to be rock stars, but they may be, but it may take them a while to get going. But if you're connecting with people who already have influence and already are liking a lot of their stuff, and then they see what you're doing, all it takes is that one coach or maybe 2 of those people that already have influence. It's going to be like nothing for them to just jump right into a business like this. So that's when you have an opportunity to say, wow, there's a coach just signed up, bam, and they're off and running. And that can totally change a business center. So if you're to that point where you're looking to sign coaches, then you definitely want to go to those people with a lot of influence on Facebook. And I'm talking about 12,000 followers. I'm talking about 1,000 to 2,000, maybe around there. Okay. But you may be in the mindset of saying, okay, listen, I see some people who are in health and fitness. They got 300 followers. I have a list of those people as well too, and I'll inbox them as well. They may not be the coaching, but they may be, you know, someone who can get in a challenge group. So I'll try to inbox a few of those every day as well too. So it's more or less just a copy and paste. You know, once I find the people, it's a copy and paste and inbox. All I have to do is tweak the name and maybe change just a little bit of the phrasing of the question on an inbox. In fact, someone today actually, I think she has about maybe 3,000 followers. She actually got back with me. She said, OMG, Tony, thank you so much for inboxing me. I didn't even know this direct message existed. So, I mean, she had no idea about it. So, and she has 3,000 followers. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm glad I'm helpful for something. That's good. So we're, you know, chiming in, and here's someone with 3,000 followers is like, yeah, I'd love to get involved in online group coaching, take on clients, but, you know, I haven't really looked into that yet. And that'd be great. You know, so we're just in the mix of conversation. So So keep that in mind. It's really the people of influence is a huge thing. So once you get that conversation going, I mean, maybe it's a week later and he or she's liking your stuff and you're liking their stuff. Maybe a week later, you can drop in another inbox message and say, hey, random question, do you have a Facebook account? I like to add positive people to my Facebook account. I was just kind of curious if you had that. If not, no big deal. Because if you get them to Facebook, a lot of times it's more of a intimate relationship, so to speak. You can have more of those messages back and forth. Once again, you get that conversation going originally in those ADOS messages, right? And you take 2 of those messages per day and you connect with people, you have a nice conversation. And then a week later, ask them if they have a Facebook account. If they have a Facebook account, love to connect, add some positivity on my Facebook. And a lot of times they will do that, right? And if you have something like with me personally, I know personal trainers struggle to make this a full-time business. So I use that as kind of like a little thing to kind of throw out there for people to ask them as far as, if they're doing this full-time and online group coaching and things like that. All right. And then, of course, you just follow them. I mean, at that point, you just follow them. And if you see that they're continually posting what they're posting and they're on your list, maybe even a week later, you just happen to ask the question, I've been following your post. And again, it's more or less, have you ever considered doing this for a living? Have you ever considered coaching online? To kind of like, have you ever considered question again, so to speak. So it leaves them to maybe carry on that conversation about coaching. And of course, even if they don't respond, as long as you're being consistent with your posts and your pictures, they're going to continually see your stuff. Okay. They're going to continually see your stuff in that regard. Okay. So basically my plan every day, it's more or less, wake up, and I'm going to add people to Facebook, Instagram. I'm going to add followers or start following them. Usually I'll do a group in the morning and I'll do one group in the evening. So I'm adding about maybe anywhere from 50 to 100 people. I know some people add more, but honestly, I got to try to keep track of some of these people. So it's hard to do that with a full-time job. And then I'll just go through my notifications and I'll just add to my list of ADOS people, which are my coaching prospects, and my other people who I really, really like. And I'll put them as maybe my challengers and I'll put them in that group. And then at some point during the morning, I'm going to pick 2 of those people and then send the message about the coaching opportunity, or not the coaching opportunity, but, like their page and inbox them at that particular point. And just try to get a connection going from that point. Okay. I don't know, Colleen, are there any questions on stuff? I know it's kind of a lot of information, and luckily this is recorded.
Yeah, I think that's awesome content and great information for people to start practicing on Instagram and really start implementing more. Does anybody else have other questions? And is there, I guess first, Tony, is there anything else? I'm just getting a lot of feedback just from me being unmuted. Anything else in the overall lesson or mindset about recruiting that Josh shared that was really helpful?
There's quite a bit. It's so much. But the main thing, it was one of those deals where he did mention about branding on social media, and he did mention, as far as, some people think they need a professional website, and he's like, no, you don't. You pretty much have your Facebook business page, or some people work on a business page, IG, your Facebook page, your personal page. But what he was saying was having a professional pick on your social media platforms. We were treated to that at the retreat. I know most of us, hopefully all of us, are using those, or something, even if you don't have a professional picture, but something that looks good. It's really clean. It looks good. It looks like a professional photographer took that picture. A lot of times it's like a white background like we have. And those white backgrounds are great because, he's even mentioning when it comes to a sneak peek group or maybe a challenge group coming up, make those invites look professional. You know what I mean? So it could be a picture of you. And I know a lot of people were doing the, one of these things, and I didn't do that. I should have. But you could take any wall, have someone take a picture of you looking good with the lighting. And you can always use those particular pictures to use those professional pictures when you talk about a sneak peek. I mean, I see Janelle Summers doing it all the time. And I was like, man, these pictures look great. And she's talking about, hey, sneak peek into coaching. She looks the part, and it looks really good, from the colors to the pictures. It looks fun. It looks professional. And she does that for anyone who's interested in sneak peek coaching, or maybe even a challenge group that she's running. So that's a good thing. And I notice that myself when I'm going through Instagram. If I see a logo as their profile pic, I don't even bother with it. Or if I see a profile that's just a little doesn't really catch my eye, I just go right by it. I don't have time to look at the stuff. But if I see someone who took the time to put a good profile pic together, then that's someone I'm definitely going to be interested in. Then I'll look and see how many followers they have. Then I'll look at their profile, their bio. Then I'll look and see and check out some of their pictures. That's kind of what I go through to see, okay, this is someone that's going to go on my list. This is going to be someone that's going to go on my assist list. I don't call it a target list. It sounds creepy. That goes on my assist list of people that I'm going to try to help as far as coaching, and I'm going to try to help as far as challenge groups or whatever the case is. So that's what it boils down to. I mean, I think a lot of it is just really being professional about it. And Josh did mention, as far as everything that we ask our clients to do and everything that we do. I mean, we bust our butt, and we're blood, sweat, and tears, and we're on the brink of passing out on our workouts. And we do it day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. But the problem is, a lot of times when you're doing that with your business, you tend to give up after 2 weeks. Or you do this habit of the ADOS. Trust me, for the first 2 weeks, I was like, oh God, I got to do this, because it's on my list to do. And it literally took about 3 weeks to form this habit of doing this every single day. And it was a pain, because it seemed to be extra stuff. But I know it's going to get me to my goal in order to get this thing done. So I've been caught in the habit way too many times, as especially this past month. I had 0 Success Club points. I had so much going on. I had 0 Success Club points as of Friday. And what happened was, I was just cranking out the invites, and next thing you know, we knock out 5 in the last 48 hours. So and two coaches under my wife. So the point of the matter is that has to keep going in order for me to get to my goal. It's kind of like when you tell yourself, I did 2 burpees, I should lose 20 pounds because I did 2 burpees. You guys know that doesn't work. So if you do 2 or 3 days or a week of all these things, and you're doing the daily activities, and you're very, very focused in on it, and then you hit Success Club, then you just kind of, it's so easy to just kind of take the foot off the accelerator. But he mentioned a good thing too, is like, a lot of times people use excuses for family and kids to not do stuff. Well, now it's time to use the family and kids as a point to do stuff. That's why you're doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a couple things you talked about as far as objections and things like that too, as far as the money objections and things like that. We can go through that as well too. I'm not sure you want to do that right now, but hopefully that helps a little bit. I mean, I don't know if there's any questions on stuff, but breaking down as far as just, really being consistent on your posts on social media. And I would say try to figure out maybe a number of posts that you would like to put on Instagram each day, and try not to make it that difficult. I mean, it's stuff that really is going to go on Facebook or already has gone on Facebook anyway. And you don't have to worry too much about when you're going to post it. It doesn't matter. And it's just, you just do it. So, and it's working great. It's working really, really good. I just used a post tonight, and it was from last March, I think. I just grabbed that, put it up, boom, got a lot of likes on it, and different hashtags, and there we go. So we're getting new followers with that too. So.
Okay, I was just putting in the chat for anybody to ask any questions if they have them, or to unmute themselves. Let's see.
Hey, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't mention anything about some of these auto programs like Instagress that you can purchase, and they'll actually go out and like people for you and comment for you and all that. I just started investigating that program and kind of looking into some auto robot programs for to grow my Instagram.
No, he didn't mention anything. He didn't mention anything like that. In fact, that's kind of new stuff to me. I mean, I'm actually new to Instagram in the last month, but I mean, it's progressed a lot. But no, we didn't mention that.
Okay.
Not yet.
Julie Moore, I mean, I don't know a lot about those. I really think that I don't know that I've heard a lot of good experiences with that. I think sometimes people get a lot more likes and stuff, but it's not real people that are liking it. So it really doesn't get new eyes on your stuff and new people engaging with you is kind of my minimal information about that. But also it is something that you could delegate to somebody, but doing it from your account or doing it from, you know, like is some specific Instagram tasks could be delegated to somebody else. Like Andrea talks about like her 13-year-old daughter doing that for her and liking things and, you know, following certain hashtags and things like that. So it is something that could be delegated to somebody to do on your account. Any other questions? Anybody feel free to type in the chat and I'll check there, or unmute yourself to ask. Let's see, Sasha putting, how do you handle, wait, the typical, I can't afford that, or I don't know if I could fit that into my budget. Tony has some great wording on that. If you want to go over that a little bit, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we kind of covered is just kind of a new way of doing it. If someone says something about the money, I have a guy right now who's been talking about making changes and he wants to do all this other stuff. And basically, you know, I always ask him, well, you know, where do you want to be a year from now? You know, where do you want to be a year from now? And what you're doing now, is that getting you to your goal? You know, you could break down the cost of Shakeology, and I do that as well too. Because people think, you know, because think about it. I mean, you go on a date, I mean, it's $50-$60 right there. Throw in some wine, maybe 80 or 90 or 100. That's for two. That's for two meals. I mean, we're giving you 30 for $130. You know what I mean? So, but again, I'm asking this guy right now that I'm talking to, you know, where do you want to be a year from now? Or where do you want to be 6 months from now? And what you're doing now, or is what you're doing now ensuring that you're going to get there? What you're doing now, is that going to work for you? And if we talk back and forth, then just like, oh, listen, I mean, would this $140 investment, you know, help you get closer to your goals? You know, so if they don't say yes right there, I mean, at least they're thinking about it. Listen, whatever you're doing now, you're not getting close to your goals. And we're asking, you know, this is basically 140, 150, 160, whatever the challenge pack is. Do you think, would this investment today get you closer to your goals that you want to be at a year from now? To, you know, be in that wedding or whatever their thing is, you know? So that's one of the things that I talk about as far as pricing objections with that. So at least it gets them to think. Hope that helps.
I like that, actually, that question to them, because it really helps to get them to the underlying motivation for them, and possibly the underlying excuses that really aren't that meaningful when they really think about, you know, where do you want to be, and is what you're doing now getting you there? Yeah.
Same thing with time. You know, if they don't have time, I mean, a lot of times people make the excuse with their job or their kids. So, you know, when you ask them if it's a coaching thing, it's like, well, you know, where do you envision your family? Where do you envision your family, and what do you want to do in the next, you know, year or two? And, you know, what you're doing now, is that getting you to those dreams? Are you getting closer to those dreams of financial freedom or whatever you want to do? Or, you know, is that getting you closer to what you're doing now? You know what I mean? Because either way, you're going to be busy. It's just a matter of making time. So, but those are, you know, and he also mentioned too, of the top coaches too. I mean, I've had a couple people in the last month. They're all in. The wind shifted, and all of a sudden you don't hear from them. You know what I mean? So that happens to everybody, you know. So, but I have them in mind when I post. I do have them in mind when I make posts. So it's good because I know they're watching. So
You have the people that have made the objections in mind, you mean? Like, and the people that you really would like to join you?
yeah. I mean, I had just recently, we were at the retreat. Someone just inboxed me from a year and a half ago. I used to work with her. We hopped on the phone. Everything that she wanted to do, we offer, right? And then she goes to Ireland because she works in reality TV, and that's why she wants to get out of it. And she comes back, and all of a sudden she's, you know, has an issue. But, you know, I think one thing that I learned in the 10X rule, and it's a great book. I mean, we're going to have a lot of our team doing it. We're going to be in a closed group in April and really holding each other accountable as coaches for our daily actions like we do our challengers. And I got everyone reading the 10X book, or better yet, the audiobook. And one thing that was mentioned by Grant Cardone is, like, anytime someone has to take time to think about something means it's going to be probably a no, because then that's the fear gets in the way. So that's why you just got to follow up with people, and you give people time to think about anything, odds are they're going to go back to the safe zone, you know, whether it's challenge group or they're afraid of the coaching opportunity or whatever. So time is just not a good thing. Time to think is not a good thing. So we all do that to some degree, I know. So
Anybody else, other questions? All right. Thank you so much, Tony, for sharing this information with us. Really, really appreciate it. And I will get the recording up as soon as I can. Anybody, if you do have questions, you can always post them, you know, follow-up questions after you're thinking about this. Please feel free to post it. I'll get it to Tony if you are posting from another group or asking from another group that he's not a part of. I'll make sure to get it to him and get his feedback to you. But thanks, everybody, for getting on. Thanks again, Tony, for sharing with us.
yeah, you bet.
Everybody posting thank you in the chat. So thanks again, everybody. I'm going to stop the recording.